The City of Water Valley Monthly Board Meeting, sponsored by Bank First of Water Valley.
Pray. Dear Lord, gracious Heavenly Father, Father, we just thank for this day that you've given us, Lord. Lord, we just want to recognize and ask you to look over the people that's sick in the city and the one that's lost loved ones. Lord, as we go into our meeting tonight, that you give us the wisdom to do the right things for the city, for you as well. And we ask this in all of Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Let's do the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Is there a motion that the agenda be adopted? I do, Laurel Matula might be here tonight, and I would ask that she be added to the agenda so that we can hear of some, I think, good news. And is there any objection? And Laurel is with us. She's going around to various board meetings tonight. Is there any objection to Laurel being added to the agenda? No. And being added to speak? Laurel, I'm going to recognize you now.
Okay. Right now.
And tell us about our application for the 0% interest.
Okay. So, Laurel Matula, ER Assist. I'm working with the city for the FEMA disaster grants. We have our first big project turned in to FEMA. It's moving forward. We're putting it in tranches too. Staunch tranche. We're putting it in tranches so that later it will move faster to get our state share. That's a problem at a later date, but right now it's in, and we expect that it will be in a loan queue. There is legislative loan in play. The legislature has set aside $120 million to help the cities and counties and applicants of this disaster. It is a revolving loan basis, and as we have projects that have been signed off by 4 different FEMA people, they call it internally a phase 4, but once it's been signed off on 4 different FEMA people, that it's in a queue, a state that the state legislature will loan, advance the city the funds for that grant. We expect we'll have our first big one in that queue about Monday or Tuesday of close to $800,000. Now we have other grants that have been approved, but they won't go in the queue because they've already been obligated. So we have the normal process. FEMA gives the money to MEMA, MEMA gives the money to the city. And then we have the loan process it's not yet obligated, so FEMA hasn't given the money to MEMA, but it's been signed off on by 4 different MEMA people, in which case the legislative loan will give the money to the city. Then when it's obligated, meaning FEMA has given the money to MEMA, MEMA will pay the legislative loan, not the city. So, in case you're trying to follow the numbers there, the legislative loan is only for 75% of the grant. So that's the federal share. We still have our local share and our state share. The state share, meaning what's in the disaster fund, MEMA will not pay until a later date, and in about a month I'll probably come back to you and say, hey, it's time to talk to our state electeds for MEMA to change their process, because statewide this is not workable. However, we're not there yet. One problem at a time.
Let's get ours right.
Yeah, let's get our federal share first. And where I'm going is that we can't close out until state share will not pay until we close out, but we can't close out until we have our canceled checks. But we won't have our money to pay our state share until they give us the state share. See, the logic failed there. But again, that's a problem for a month for now, not for today. Today is just to know that the process is working. We should have our first project in that loan queue early next week.
And Laurel, we had the state will do 12 and a half, and FEMA
Correct.
would do 75. the additional 12.5, our match money, our city, and I think we've had fair success with that, with our match money.
Correct. We have a lot of documentation, but it's not nearly enough. So we have several churches. So I will be sending each of you a personal sheet to document the hours as you as council members, board members. Board members have you no doubt worked tirelessly for those first 2 weeks to document your hours, but also to spread the word through the community. We do have a survey that will likely be posting on the city's social media, and it would be great if you could cross-post that and communicate that this is not ER assist phishing for private information. It's not a scam, that citizens, it would benefit the citizens to report these volunteer hours. They will not get paid for those volunteer hours, but the city does get to take it as a credit on their local share.
And we do have a lot of volunteers.
We have a lot of volunteers. We
Yeah.
have not captured them all
No,
yet.
and I think once we do capture them, you think,
Yes, I think we will get between the volunteer, the donations, and the in-kind vehicle equipment use, we will get to essentially that zero
if we all work together.
if we all work
And
together.
now that means the churches that help, the people that were
It
in
is
them, we get
imperative.
credit for that. And of course, we get credit for the city, various things, but it's important, this is where we can all work together and all help one another because, 12.5% may not sound like a great deal, and I am thankful, it looks great, was under the budget that we had set by over $100,000, I understand. But still, that's still a lot of money for, and they finished long ago, and I'm thankful for that. But still, 12.5% of over $1 million is still a lot of money.
And we need to kind of buffer some of that, put in some extra cushion, because we may have a reviewer or auditor that says, hey, this person was actually claimed on the county as well, so we have to take them off of the city. So we need to make sure that we have extra in there.
Well, every meal that was served, for example, at the city, and in our city and at the city hall, we get credit for that.
Absolutely.
And the volunteer effort we get credit for. And we had great volunteer effort, and that's what I think sets us apart from.
And we can still have volunteer efforts until August, meaning if we wanted to do the community cleanup day, if we had a sports team, something to that effect.
We had community cleanup the other day.
Okay.
We had, among the opening of the Little League thing and the graduation, we had base camp, we had that as well. So at any rate, if we all pull together, Laurel, it'll work. And you've got the authority. We have the authority. We've already passed the authority to make the application. Daniel, we passed that.
For the legislature alone.
We passed it on the same night that the governor signed. First one in the state to pass it.
Hey,
Okay.
no moss is growing on that.
0% interest. All right. Any questions of law?
We do need to identify the revenue source that the city will pay back if FEMA does not pay, and I think that answer is sales tax, but it's something that I think
Well, we'd be
you
in
all
the
should agree.
poorhouse, but if it comes to that, yes, that's the ultimate. The state can, they can withhold that if we don't.
I think after four FEMA professionals sign off on it, the risk of having it not go forward after 4, there's still 2 or 3 more after those 4. A lot of people sign off on it. A lot of reviews going on.
I think Katrina taught
Yes,
people
yeah,
that
yeah.
maybe that's why it was needed.
Yeah, so I think the risk of it not proceeding after 4 people sign off on it is very low, but it's still a smart thing for the MEMA and the legislature to put in.
All right, any questions of Laura? All right, Laura, we appreciate ER Assist, and might I say that it is, Vivian, I think we could all agree it's invaluable to have
Yes, sir.
help that, so we can get every penny of this desperately needed funding.
If Looks Great is done, Debris Tech is done, if we have large piles that are still in play, we can identify, but we need to make sure that the city is dispatching them and.
That's right, and
Not
we
me.
have vehicles to do that, and I believe that is underway,
Yes,
is what I
I
understand.
understand that. I haven't figured it, but I
And, but
understand.
if it's not underway, it's gonna get underway.
Yes,
And but it is underway, and we will do that. And we've got a trucks that'll actually, they're old, but they'll actually run now, most of the time.
FEMA doesn't ask the age of the truck, just the.
Well, you can't
Giving them
ask the
all.
age of elected officials, either, but you can, I don't care. Next, we have a motion to approve the minutes. Is there a motion to approve the minutes? Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, that's done. Next, we have the monthly bills. Is there a motion to approve the monthly bills? Is there a second? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Next, we're gonna have the Main Street report. And I'm gonna, if you don't mind, I'm gonna step on you a little bit here and say, we got, well, you tell me. But I talked with Leah.
Yeah,
And we got a dispensation to proceed with a splash pad.
we're excited about it. The Pocket Park renovation, yeah, exactly, continues. We're working, as Tommy said, with the Small Town Center. They have been good help, but they have done it on their own pace. And this last few days, Tommy called and worked some of his magic and got them to open up their schedule book, and all we need from them is some specs on sizes, and we'll be able to start getting some quotes together. We're excited to have that, and I look forward to putting my feet in it and cooling them off soon.
Well, I've got a 4-year-old and a 5-year-old that are very, very interested in that.
We went before the Historic Preservation Commission, and they approved our certificate of appropriateness for the demolition of the concrete foundations and the relocation of the cast iron pilasters that are there at the front. And then I had a good walk around with Johnny Wayne Turner several weeks back, and both he and then I talked to Bennett Hill, who had done the utilities survey for us, thought it would be a good idea for us to talk to a structural engineer before moving forward with any sort of demolition work on those foundations. I was able to talk to Mark Watson, who had done the structural report on the old Yalbush County Jail, and who I had worked with before, and he advised that it looked like it would be fine to move forward. He thought that cutting with a concrete saw, I think we had talked about maybe using a jackhammer to go that way. He thought that if we could do it with a saw, that would be the better route, but they thought that there would be no problem moving forward with that. So we're excited about all that progress. And speaking of progress, there's progress on the streetscapes in the ARPA-funded grant. The McGlawns have completed the first section of that up at the fork of Central and Main, and then there at Clay Street and across Main. We are really excited to see that continue. It's been fits and starts, but love that it's going. McGlawns are doing great work with their subcontractors. Tommy has been a great help. Kagan has been a great help. It is a team effort for sure, and if the rain will hold off, we'll keep rolling. I talked to you last month about the grant that was reinstated, the $130,000 grant. The Main Street Association, Mississippi Main Street Association, continues to work with the Mississippi Development Authority. That's going to be the agency that oversees that grant program. And through their Community Incentives Division, they are working right now on putting together the sub-grant agreements developing guidelines and compliance measures, and then they're scheduling implementation workshops for the grantees, which means I hope that sometime in July we'll be going and getting up to speed on how we're going to move forward on this $130,000 sidewalk grant and putting that in place. We're excited about it. A reminder too that the Main Street Association and the city will be responsible for a $20,000 match for the $130,000 grant. I believe you were on the board when some commitments were made several years back about that. Was it 10,000 that the city had committed to it?
It was.
So we'll look forward to working together on that and on more. We've got a couple of events coming up. You'll find that in your folder as well. Starting this weekend, we've got Nashun Holmes at the Pocket Park for some live music. We'll also have Horace Willis on June 13th and Alana Mosley on July 11th. We had filed the papers with the police department for a leisure district for all three of those, and would like to put that before y'all tonight to have that so designated for all three.
Is there a motion? Second. All in favor? Opposed?
Thanks, y'all. We've got Everdale Church is coming out with their youth department, and they're going to be selling food that night. We're excited about that. And Bobby Turnage has done yeoman's work, as you can see, building a big stack of sponsors for this and putting together the music. I want to thank Bobby for all his work on that. And then last, on May 17th, so not this coming up weekend, but the one after, we've got Mark Neves coming. He's written a book on the Wagner brothers, and he's going to be talking about that, talking about his book, signing copies of it. That will be at the Drawing Room, which is the new space in Magnolia Coffee company next door to it. And Brandon and Caitlin Presley were the ones who made this happen. It looks like it's a Main Street event, but really I've got to thank Brandon for making the whole thing happen and then just reaching out to us after. But we're excited about that. I hope that y'all will come to all those. And I know that there's agenda item for the Civic coming up. I just want to say that we went for my nephew's band concert a couple of weeks ago. It was fantastic. It was so much nicer to have it in the Civic instead of in the high school gym, and look forward to more uses like that for it. Appreciate the funds you were able to get for that. If anyone has any questions, I'll be glad to answer.
All right. Well,
Chris, is there anything that we can do to help y'all as a board?
Well, as we say, this first thing is going to be lining up the match for the $130,000 grant. And as we go forward with that, that'll be big. And then as we go forward with the demolition of the concrete foundations, that is in anticipation of the Main Street Association deeding the Pocket Park over to the city, and therefore the city can use that as riprap for erosion control. So those are two really big ways that the city will be helping. So.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you. Now, and that's good news. Next, Planning Commission report.
Yes, here we go. I have, well, I'm sorry this didn't get into your packet well before the meeting, but here it is. It's a letter. It's a request for some help for us as the Planning Commission. Here you go, Mayor. Planning Commission, we've got some smart people with good intentions, and we all have different skills and talents that we bring to it, but there's some stuff that we know as commissioners, there's some stuff we know we don't know, and there's a whole bunch of stuff that we don't even know if we know it. So we need, what I'm asking for here, what we are asking for is permission to find consultants to help us do a 5-year, 10-year study, help us plan for infrastructure, help us plan for roads, for schools, for things that a town's got to have to grow, because we are poised to grow rapidly. The plan that was done 20 years ago, the ordinances that we're working on were done in 2006. We're kind of piecemeal patching up those things. Hopefully what can happen once we get consultants to come and get input from them and input from the citizens is we can update all those ordinances and come up with a nice new shiny package of ordinances.
What I would envision is if we could authorize the planning commission to begin this process. We're not appropriating money
Right.
tonight. Well, first off, you gotta make sure you got it before you appropriate it, and we'd have to do a thorough study to find out. But and also look at some alternative sources. We can try to be creative, but personally, I have seen if you don't plan, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Now, I'm not for a planned economy or anything like that, but I do think we need some basic planning in the town to be, and this might be a start. Is there a motion that the park, not the park, but the planning commission, although you might involve the parks too, that the park commission, the planning commission be authorized to begin to study update of the city's zoning and development plan and try to secure resources to do that? Is there a motion?
Make that motion.
Is there a second?
No.
Second.
All in favor will say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. I'm gonna
Thank you.
rule that it passed, Jim.
Thank you very, very much, and please understand that this process will involve public input, which is going to be important to it. So this will increase public input to the process.
And James, while I've got it, there's a discussion of an ordinance, and I believe.
Yes, that's going to later on the agenda, but I've sent out copies of that ordinance to members of the planning commission and have gotten positive responses that could be something that would be good. Of course, it's up to y'all, but thank you for including us.
So does the planning commission give us y'all's recommendation?
This is the abandoned properties.
For the vacant?
I haven't studied it all yet.
It's on their minutes.
So I sent it out.
Okay.
Okay, we haven't had a meeting in order to formally do that. We don't want to do,
Well, it's been furnished, and we'll talk about that later. All right, thanks, James.
thank you.
Thank you so much.
Next, we have the Historic Preservation Committee. Historic Preservation Committee, Vivian, do we have a report? Or?
Oh, yes, sir, it's in the packet,
All right, is there a motion that
and I did send them out.
all right, and there's no action item other than,
We had one COA, I think.
all right, let's just, okay, go.
Well, were we gonna include the minutes of the planning commission into our month's minutes?
We need to.
Let's acknowledge the minutes of the receipt of the minutes of the planning commission and authorize their insertion in the board meeting minutes of this meeting. Is there a motion to do that?
We have a motion
Is
that
there a
we
second?
acknowledge their minutes.
All right, and place it and authorize the placement in the minutes, in this board's minutes. All in favor will say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
All right, next, we've got, let's talk about the Historic Preservation Committee. We have one change, and let's go to that, okay? Let me see that, locate that, and I'll bring that forward.
I did. I thought I printed it out.
Well, if not, we can,
Was it sent by email?
Right here.
no, let me look at it.
They had about 3 little sets of stuff.
Okay. All right. Let's see what they want done. What do they want done?
Thing.
All right, there's an application for certificate of appropriateness. The applicant is the Water Valley Main Street Association, and this would be on the Pocket Park. and this is concrete foundations and 2 iron columns. The WVM at Water Valley Main Street Association is renovating the pocket park. We would like to demolish the concrete foundations left behind when the building on the site was burned and relocate 2 columns. What you got right now is a concrete floor for a building that doesn't exist. So this would be an amendment, granting of a certificate of appropriateness for the removal of the same and the request of the Main Street Association. Is there a motion that this be granted?
I made that motion.
Is there a second?
A second.
All in favor will say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Then we just put their minutes like we did the
And
other.
we would request that is there a motion that the minutes of the, this historic committee be acknowledged and that their placement in the minutes of the city be approved? There is a motion, and there is a second. All in favor will say aye.
Aye.
We're doing a lot more official than I do with the Board of Supervisors. Next, let's do the Park and Civic Commission. We've got 2 of our leading citizens here. Robert and Jesse, y'all come forward. Up to good works, no doubt.
Robert's gonna lead off.
Uh-oh.
So I'll try and keep this pretty short and sweet. Primary thing that we've been focused on over the last month really is the loss of our parks director. The opening day of baseball kind of fell to the board. We, with help from the board and parents, coaches, a little bit of blind leading the blind on this, we were able to have a successful opening day, I felt like. We had to pivot on a lot of stuff. We did have to outsource the concession stand just because it just was not doable by the board. We spent between 80 and 100 hours ourselves down there with cleaning bathrooms, working on what we could work on, dragging fields. Phone with Joe was down there multiple times over the past few weeks, helping us get those fields ready, chalking lines in the middle of the night with the lights on. Just to get this going. That was the big thing. I mean, it was a lot of work, but it was it's a good thing that we got the season kicked off. The amount of work is not stopping. This is full bore throughout. We're going to talk a little about getting some additional help from the city as far as helping with the fields, getting them drugged, getting some supplies delivered that they need, like the chalk, that type of thing. And it's not something that can be scheduled. It's when we need it. So, Tommy, you and I want to talk about that on who I can talk to get down there, like with what we did with the fields being mowed.
They got mowed.
They did Saturday morning at 6:30.
They sure did.
So, the parking lot lighting. So, thanks to our friends at the Utility Commission here, we've got parking lot lights that are fantastic. That parking lot down there was just pitch black at night, very unsafe. Brandon's team at the Utilities Commission, they got them installed, made a world of difference. They also worked on some of the path lights, and I think them working on that, we saw just how brittle those lights really are. Not the lights, the wiring. They're what they've done is about the extent of what can be done with those lights. So that's going to be something for a future thing to look for grant money to get that replaced. And I think y'all saw that because I had you and some members of the board came a little walking tour at Crawford just to kind of check everything out. And we know the drainage issue that we discussed, working with the Utilities Commission as well on that. The Parks Director, we feel we have identified the candidate that we're going to talk to y'all about later tonight. We're pretty confident in that. Let's see, we talked about that. Other parks, Lee Street, Elizabeth Wright from the board, she's kind of taken that as a pet project to kind of refurbish Lee a little bit, using volunteer, no money from the city. If y'all don't know, little tiny triangular park that's on Lee Street. I don't know if anybody even knows it's there, but it's there, kids use it. So we're trying to do what we can with no money to make this a better place for those kids to use. Civic, I'll let you talk about Civic. We did have to kind of jump back to baseball, we did have a very large crowd at our last commission meeting that was a lot of the baseball, or it was specific to the baseball teams, the coaches, and some of the parents. A lot of them didn't know about the meeting, and we publicized that, paper notices. This is I think it was a good thing, because I've seen more that have asked me about, so your meetings are, they're asking when they are. So we're hoping that was a good thing, that we'll actually see that we want the community's engagement in our parks. Let's see. I feel like I'm forgetting something. No, I think that's about it.
All right, well, Jesse, bring us up to speed on
Moving on to Civic. As y'all know, the Civic has been completely refurbished, but what the Civic does not have is a budget, because originally it came under the Parks and Cemeteries, and the Civic has never been
It was closed for 6 years.
Well, that made a difference too, but it has never had any way to be maintained. We have had 14 events. People have used it. We'll use it 14 times this month. We're going to have some kind of budget for the Civic. If nothing else, just for things like toilet tissue and cleaning. That when you get that number of people through there in a month, and we hope to keep that number of people coming through because we want the facility to be used, but it also needs some maintenance, which means it needs a budget.
Let me ask you this, is there any opposition to a request that a line item in the budget, in the upcoming budget, October 1st, be designated as Civic Maintenance Fund, the Civic Maintenance Fund, and the Civic is generating revenue right now? Is there any objection to that? Vivian, when we do a budget, of course, the weather's mine.
We'll help you with supplies for sure.
Maybe I'm wrong on this, but I'm looking at the.
Always.
We have a fund for the Civic Auditorium. I'm looking at it right now.
Well, I'm talking about, Grant, what I intend.
And I could be wrong. So.
Well, let's say this. What we've got is a lot of monies coming in for the use of it, and what we would do is calculate what we're getting in and try to make sure that a good deal of that goes to that. That was Grant. What's that?
I think he thinks about the grant money, because I don't have one that's just for the Civic by itself.
Yeah.
Well, I want one for the Civic by itself.
Sure,
if there's no objection to that.
And the grant money has already been earmarked for something
And
else.
yes, the grant money.
And it can only be used.
And it
Yeah,
can
it
only
can only
be,
be
that's a legislative appropriation.
Yeah,
And so, but what I would say is, we need to never let the Civic fall into the shape it did before. And therefore, if you maintain your buildings, you spend a little bit now, but they'll stay. Otherwise, your roof will fall in and everything else and leak.
what are our options between now and October?
But I tell you what you can do. You can come and make, we can fund your appropriate, we can fund things that you need.
Okay.
Just if you'll make them
Maybe not just astronomical huge.
not astronomical huge, but we can get by.
The next event is going to be at the end of May.
Yes.
We'll cover the maintenance for the rest.
And if the amount is under a certain level, then
Hey, 1 second.
the
Joe,
supplies
I'll
can
ask.
be under that.
Oh,
that.
wait.
Maybe clean every once in a while.
Yeah.
And we're working on that, because I've requested, at y'all's request, that we do have some inmates to help clean and things of that nature, and they're looking at that right now to see if we
We're just
can
having
get
enough
that.
people come through it
That
now
would save
that
us money.
Janitorial service is getting to be a necessity.
So,
Yeah.
so right now, when somebody rents the Civic, the money that we generate from that, does that just go straight back to the general
It
fund?
goes to general fund, is my understanding.
But it goes up under.
It goes under.
It goes
But
up
I
under
mean, it-
memorial at that time.
Make a
Yeah,
line
but
item, why not just,
What we need is a
appropriate
separate
the
item.
funds generated by the Civic to be used for the Civic?
Yeah, I
Yes,
think
that's-
we need it.
that's
Yeah,
what
we're
we're
gonna
working
have a line item in the budget, for the civic, maintenance and, well, you could say maintenance and usage.
And I'm not opposed to having just its own fund.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
it
right.
Keep
it would be a
everybody
line
happy.
item in
Everybody
the
happy.
budget. And so,
Well, this way we'll know how much income it's actually generating.
That's
and,
right.
And what the
you've got
expenses
to
are.
have, the bugs have to be, you gotta do certain maintenance things you've gotta do every month, or we'll be right back in this situation again. And you're gonna keep over it. It's gonna happen. Robert, you're gonna have too. She's gonna, these ladies gonna make it happen. I'm gonna tell you. All right.
You're doing a great job.
Thank you.
For
Yes.
zero pay, let me say that.
I think I'm the next thing on the agenda too.
Well, go ahead.
For a
Well,
different
Park, is there anything
organization.
y'all need from us?
We'll talk later.
Okay, I'm wearing a different hat for this one. This is for the Garden Club. The Town and Country Garden Club, we maintain Railroad Park. We take care of all the planters downtown. And we decorate seasonally for everything, which means we have a large supply of items that we need storage for. Right now, they are in the old chicken plant, but at some point, I know that's going to change because there's some plans for that building. We were offered another space up there, whatever we could find. There's not another building up there that is watertight where we can put our stuff. So I need someplace on city property, if you would allow us to continue to store the things that we use for city decoration.
I think we need to, as a board and mayor, these people have donated this property that's utilized for the city and city events, not through city money, but
No,
they've
it
done
was
it
all
themselves.
donated.
So I think we need to direct that our incoming building, our incoming Public Works Director, and we make sure that an adequate space is set aside that is suitable for these items that are utilized for the city, for our city events. Is there a motion that we do that? Is there a second?
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right.
Thank you.
Next, we would have the Utility Commission.
Thank y'all, and I will try to be quick. There's just a few items on here as an update. First, we have secured, I think, we're in the short rows with the county on the long-term lease for the old jail. The Board of Supervisors considered it on Monday, and there was just one tweak about replacing windows, and everything else has been done. Thank you to Commissioner Allen and Commissioner Weeks for being here tonight. That's on its way. Just coming into this meeting, so Terry and Barry hadn't heard this yet, spoke with the statewide director of USDA Rural Development about the ability to take federal funds on either grants or grant loan match for this type of project, and they feel confident that this could be one in which they could take and champion, because repurposing a public building that's there, and many of y'all know the director came up and toured a bunch of our facilities a while back, so we think there's some real good opportunities there, and that'll be something, Mayor, we'll have to come to y'all and get the city to bless as the applicant, but it'll be a good way to go forward. Lord willing, May the 18th, the Board of Supervisors will sign their part of that agreement. We've already been authorized to sign it once they do, and we'll begin the cleanup process there, just using existing personnel and cleanup. Secondly, while I'm talking about cleanup, Dr. Weeks has spearheaded this down at the old Powerhouse building at Blunt and Gore Circle. Beautiful yellow brick building that was built 7 years before Franklin Roosevelt got electricity to rural America. Water Valley had it in that building. We began this week with a private contractor cleaning up, edging the sidewalks, fixing the doors, getting all the growth off of it, and that has made a major, major impact. Incidentally, outside of that building there was a pile of scrap metal that's been laying there since years, decades, that we hauled off this week, declared it surplus, hauled it off, and brought in $2,800 total in 3 loads of funds back into the Utility Commission's coffers just off junk that was in a pile that looked awful. So we're going to continue that process, and we're continuing to move things down to the lot next to Jack's, getting ready for the auction that I know y'all are participating in. I think we've hauled some of the street department stuff. Glad to do it if we're just all working together to make that successful. But there's some stuff that's of value that can be gotten rid of. Mayor mentioned earlier, cleanup day was Saturday. That was our first of 2 each year that the commission committed to as part of our work on sanitation. 83 people, although it was base camp graduation and registration for ball and 2 or 3 other things going on, 83 souls came out, and we took the list that y'all aldermen gave us and highlighted other streets. 83 people came out and picked up 156 bags of litter all over town. So number one, that's tells us how big of a litter problem we got, but it also tells us when the public's engaged, how much they want to be a part of it. We highlighted with the mayor on Saturday, and I think it's part of what he's talked to y'all about. One place up on Martin Street, Demetrius, that you know about, right there on the right, it was just a complete mess. And so Mr. Chandler, the superintendent of sanitation, sent his crews up there that same day and took scoops and cleaned it up. But that's one of those things that, as you talked about on the Civic, if we don't stay on it, we get behind. But that went very, very well, and we look to do another one later on in the year. Pole inspection project. Y'all have seen the crews going around from Power Pole Management. They're putting the tags on the poles. They're treating the poles. They're identifying which poles need to come out of the ground that are structurally not safe. I think they've identified 130 so far, above 130, that are going to be coming out. And we're not only the ones that will be coming out, and we have the funds and legislative appropriated money to handle that, it'll also get us on a schedule of knowing each year, because the mayor and I talked about this 100 times. There's going to come a day these legislative funds are going to run out. That's just coming, and we've got to be able to row our own boat and pay our own bills when that stops, and that's the responsible thing to do. This plan will give us a yearly retirement. It could be semi-yearly, but we will be looking at every year what poles should come out on a scheduled basis so that the commission can budget for X amount of money to get those poles out so that you never get behind. That as poles deteriorate and their life cycle is up, they come out of the ground, a new one goes in, and you do it in an orderly fashion, and we never get behind that 8 ball that we've been behind. So that's going very well. I think we're on our 5th week of it. They're wrapping up pretty quick, but they've done an excellent job. I've had a lot of citizens say, man, these folks came in the yard, put a door hanger on the door. They've done a good job getting that done, and that is all paid for by legislatively appropriated funds. When Tommy was in the House, it came here for broadband, and so that's an excellent project. We are going out for bids on automated water meters. Right now, we manually read every meter. We found a number of meters in the city that are dead. That's the best way to put them. They're not recording. That's not only can you not do that, it's also a revenue loss that we're not getting actual usage. I'm gonna call you out on this, Dr. Weeks. Dr. Weeks discovered that his was dead. It was a self-reporting man. He didn't want to take anything for free. But what it did in his instance was he now knows he's got a water leak at home that he did not know because that meter wasn't reading. So there are things that we can come up with as we automate this process that will help the homeowner, save them on damage. We're going to be really particular about 2 things in looking at these bids. Number one, that they completely integrate with the software that we have that automatically reads electric meters. Y'all have heard me talk about a long time how we've got to sync these billing cycles up and meter readings so that a customer gets their bill around the 1st of the month and not the middle of the month. So that's going to be important. Secondly is that we scoop up all of those benefits such as leak detection. Most modern water meters on an automated system can tell you if you've had continuous water running over a certain period of time. So if a couple of hours you've had continuous usage, it will automatically alert that customer and say, Mr. Coughlin, your meter's been running for 2 hours, you may have a leak. Catching it before somebody accumulates a big bill and comes in unhappy we're able to be an aid to them and also tighten up the system. So Willis Engineering, we've got an engineering services agreement with them to sign. They're going to move forward with that. Also with Willis, the mayor and I talked with them this week. We've got the items on point to go into the CDBG application for $600,000. The big priority there is to increase the transmission line for the lagoon going into it so that it's able to carry more capacity. We got plenty of capacity there. It's getting the sewage to the lagoon, and we want to make sure we create an interstate highway to get that done. And then as that number comes out of the 600,000, we back into it things such as down at the park, Mr. Mays mentioned, you got a manhole that's got to be readjusted because you got sewer spilling over there into the park. That would be part of the grant. Also on Cook Street, you've got there at the bridge crossing, you've got a manhole that's dropping. That's about, I think, $25,000 they said. And then relining pipes. We were smoking areas of the south part of town to get an idea of where the pipes need to be replaced so we can do that. All of those items will be fitted into that 600,000. So we're not going to leave 1,000 on the table. We're going to go for the full 600, but in a piecemeal approach. With the top priority is getting all the collection into the lagoon because that's a little bit constrained, but that's well on its way. And Tommy, thank you for helping us push that with Willis. We have advertised for, and I was out of town, but several of the commissioners and Jim McClure interviewed for our business manager position that we look to fill here shortly, and we'll keep you apprised of that. The commission also, in the vein of sanitation, voted in our last meeting to reduce the fee for a second garbage can down to $9.50 a month to try to encourage people to please get a second can. It's $18.80 for one, and it's $9.50 if you want to get the other one. The trucks come in there anyway. We really want to do this to do two things. Number one, reduce the amount of garbage that the wind takes around all in town when somebody places a bunch of stuff out there, and we is as guilty at my house as anybody else of putting extra out there. Secondly is to make our guys' jobs just a little bit easier. Having it in a can, not having to bulk transport it is a big thing. We've got 50 cans in now. We're going to be able to fulfill any orders that somebody wants a second can. But it's just a way to clean up the town, make it a little bit more orderly. Those cans cost $50 a piece. So in 5 months, you've essentially made your money back on the can as far as a taxpayer investment, and it's there to permanently help people. Also, we're setting aside 20 of those cans for special events. Casey Jones Music Festival, the Watermelon Carnival, all the things like that, so that the gentlemen on the sanitation side don't have to go out and literally manhandle those barrels that have been hollowed out. They'll have handles on them, that'll go up and it'll be done. Also, downtown, I'm still talking about sanitation here, the holders for the garbage cans, they have metal cans in them. Many of them don't have lifts. You have to repaint them. We've got an order placed right now for, I think it's 40 total Rubbermaid 32-gallon black plastic cans that will go in there. They're in some places. And we will take those metal ones out, repurpose them, and put them in the park and recreation department so that they can have them to dress up the parks, because they've got old barrels in places down there. So we're trying to hit a lot in the vein of cleaning the city up and making it look better and just making this flow just a little bit better than what it has been. Laurel talked a minute ago about FEMA. I would mention that I think she and I talked a minute ago, we're way ahead on the number of invoices we've got that she's loaded for the Electric Commission. Our bill is going to total about $2.4 million, maybe a little above that, once you add in $800,000 worth of permanent repairs. Just to remind the board, that is where during the storm, when it was 5 degrees outside, whatever it was, we may have taken aluminum wire and melded it with copper wire just to get the lights back on. In a normal course of business, you would never do that. You would eliminate the copper and do it all right at one time, but circumstances dictated that we do it quickly. Those type of expenses are allowable to be recovered for prospective, for future construction, called permanent repairs. That is going to, Mayor, to what I know you're interested in, that is going to knock out a lot of this old copper 4 kV system that we've been plagued with, I guess you would say, over the years. So we're 10 times the amount of loss. That's exactly right.
Electricity.
And we're losing money on that system going and coming from where we buy electricity from TVA to where it goes to the customer. That's the bulk of our problem. The ice storm and the permanent repairs is going to knock out some of that, along with the other several $millions now of funds that we've been able to get over the last 8 months for this. Our fiscal year 2025 audit, which y'all approved because at that time it was under the city's jurisdiction, governance of the mayor and the board before the commission was created, should be done in the next 30 days, and we'll have a copy of that, and of course forward it to who we need to. We discussed in our last meeting, folding into what Mr. McCormick talked about earlier, Water Valley is poised to grow. We all know that. And part of that is making sure that we don't have policies that are anti-growth, and at the same time make sure we got policies that protect taxpayers' investments. And one of the things the Commission's talked about is looking at how we at least update our line extension policy. So if you have a developer come in, they're putting in houses, how do you ensure, number one, that the little lady, it's always in politics, you talk about the little old lady, you know, that somebody is not subsidizing infrastructure for a developer, and at the same time that you got policies that are fair to the developer. You don't want to be so stringent that nobody wants to come do business in your town. At the same time, you want to have a straight up, clear, honest deal. And the goal of this, as we move forward on, is that when someone comes into Mr. Carter to get a building permit, that they have a printed booklet that tells roles and responsibilities, so the developer knows on the front end exactly what's expected, what the city will do, what they shall have to do. And this is not something we're going to do flippantly or overnight. One of the things that we talked about is maybe getting a group of real estate agents, developers, citizens, people who are interested in this, to kind of look as we go forward. We don't want to be Moses coming off the mountain with the tablets and saying, this is how it is. We need to have input from the public and those in this business. And at the same time, we've got to ensure the infrastructure going in the ground that the public will be responsible for meets all the tests of durability. And look, good developers want to do that. Unfortunately, you got to have rules to make sure that that you don't run afoul of something. And I had experience with this when I was a mayor. We had a place in which the developer came in, put in subpar infrastructure. The city took it before we took office, and we spent about $200,000 correcting that mistake for 7 houses. We can't get in that situation in Water Valley, or we can avoid it now if we will act. And so we're going to look into that. Last thing, and I'll tell you about a few training updates y'all are welcome to come to. We continue to get calls about bulky debris pickup, and that is couches, mattresses. And I'm just mentioning it to you again. We really need to come, and I know you're going to work on your public works director. Maybe when they get appointed, we figure out how to work this out. But we really need to figure out whether that's under sanitation or whether that's going to be under streets or what it is, because it's piling up and we're getting calls about it. We talked to Mr. Chandler about it. Our sanitation division doesn't have a problem with taking that on. We just don't know what you want to do with it. So think about that as you're talking to your public works folks. And lastly, just a few updates if you'd like to join us. On Thursday this week at 9 o'clock down in Kagan's building in the conference room, we're going to have a training session with Hometown Grid. As y'all will remember in the ice storm, that was an integral part of our quick response. I mean, it made a heck of a difference for customers and for the folks we had out in the field to do it. We're going to spend a whole day with that company, showing all the bells and whistles of what all it will do. Now that we have water, sewer, and sanitation under the Commission's overview, they have activated a way where if you have a dirty water complaint, you'll be able to text that number and say, my water's dirty at whatever your address is, and it will alert the on-call water staff to go out and do it, and it will track that. Same thing with sanitation. If we were to be in charge of bulky items, the couches and things, you can take a picture of what you put on the street, text it to our number, and say, I need to have this couch picked up. It will create a list for Mr. Chandler and his sanitation division to go out and get those items. The other good thing about that is you got a picture of what they picked up, so we know how to appropriately charge the customer for removing that. Don't forget, we have to pay to get that stuff disposed of. And so that's going to be a whole day training on what all that can do, and making sure we're taking all the bells and whistles into doing it. Just an example, last night we had somebody on Facebook said the water was dirty on a certain street, and I just happened to see it. I was in South Carolina, and called the guy and said, hey, I saw your water's dirty. We were instead of somebody having to take to Facebook or not know where to go, they will be able to immediately notify our water staff. They can be on the way, and it tracks it. And so it's going to give a good professional avenue for people to file the complaints. But that training is Thursday starting at 9 o'clock in the morning. And you're welcome to step in. The commissioners will be there, but we'd love to have you. Also on May the 18th, Dr. Weeks took the lead on this. We're going to have an all-day training with the Tennessee Valley Public Power Association on the basics of utility systems. starting at where we buy power from TVA and where we sell it to customers and everything that goes on in between. So this is a really basic 101 on everything that goes on into our electric system. We've been blessed, thanks to y'all's help and leadership and the leadership on the commission. We've been blessed to have a ton of money coming in to fix these problems, $3.2 million in 8 months. We want to make sure that we are syncing that up with what the most pressing needs are for reliability, and that's going to be a big part of that training. It's going to be a good education, so you're welcome to come to that if you'd like to. And last but not least, we're in the process of scheduling our training with the Mississippi Ethics Commission. We feel it's important that we do something akin to continuing education on both audit and ethics, and that our employees spend a little time each year hearing about what the law is, what the rules are, so that we supremely comply with everything from bids to ethical procurement to following all the different notice and guidelines. And so Tom Hood, the director of the Ethics Commission, has been kind enough to say he would come up and put that on. We'll extend an invitation if the city would like to join in any part of that. This is not a gotcha type thing. This is a keep you operating within the bounds of the law and the regulations, and it's just a good way that we feel like sharpens our people's pencil at least once a year on what the rules and the regulations are. Any questions? All right, thank you, sir.
All right, now, we've got a lot going on, and the 1.5 million, I think we discussed that before, 1.2 million was appropriated this year, and that was signed, so we've got that, and then we've got a goodly amount. Now, it's going to take every bit of that and more to meet some of the needs we've got, because quite frankly, there were a lot of needs to be met, and that's just the way it is. And lines that belonged in the Edison Electric Institute and not in delivering power. So that will be addressed, and hopefully will. Now, let's go to the Gary Williams. Come on, Gary.
I'll just stand here. My name's Gary Williams. Tommy, I have a request for the city. Several years ago, I took possession of a plot in the cemetery from a cousin, a family member, and that plot's been in my family since 1944 when it was first opened up. The cousin lives in Memphis. I don't know if he's ever been to Water Valley. And he called me and wanted to know if I would like to make arrangements to work out a deal with him to get the plot. So I didn't see it. I went and looked at it, and there are 4 places that have been used and 4 places that are open. And there's a huge tree growing in the open place. So I went to Mike Scroggins and asked him about the tree, and he said, well, I have plans to get rid of that tree. And he said it's a nuisance. The limbs and the leaves follow them all around that part of the cemetery. And he said, I'm working on getting rid of it. Well, I've been in contact with him about every month since then, and the tree's still there.
He's still working with the cemetery.
Well, okay, but Willie McCracken, I think, was hired, and I went and talked to him. He wasn't supposed to be over the cemetery when he was hired. I thought anyway. I went to him, and he'd already knew about the tree, and he said he had planned to get it down too already. Well, it's still there. So I don't know who to go to next. It's going to take a bucket truck and some people that know what to do to get the tree down. I know Mike didn't have the resources to do it. He was going to have to get somebody else to do it.
Well,
so I'm here requesting that.
I think what we should do is to get the people together that can work on this problem and see how a solution can be achieved. And I don't want to say who or what, but I mean there's a lawful way to do it. and it needs to be a timely and lawful way to do it. So, you know, this is always a proper venue, you know, for citizens to come forward. So, is there objection to us looking into this issue and seeing what solutions can be achieved and how they can be achieved? And we're one city, and we might have different titles or different things, but we've got to sort of work together if we're going to get the thing done. So I appreciate you coming, Gary.
Well, thank you for listening to me. What you can do, I would appreciate. Thank you.
Well, you've done your part to come and present your situation, and then we'll see what can be done. Thank you so much, Gary. All right, James Johnson. James? All right, then Hosea Bradford. Come on up.
Hey everybody. I brought some pictures of the culvert across the street from my driveway. I was here about 3 years ago, maybe 3, 4. And I talked to Mike at the time, Scroggins, about the leaves. At the time, the neighbors was like raking the leaves from the trees off in there. And so I called Mike about it. And so he did talk to them and told them you had to bag them or whatever. But in fairness to them, I haven't seen them do it this year. But with the northern wind, it just blows the leaves everywhere anyways. It's been a problem. This time it just forced me to come back to follow up. Because if you look at those pictures, it leaves such a mess, and when it jumps the road and come in my driveway, it leaves all kind of debris, and when the sun do come out, mud and everything is under the carport, under my wife's car, and I'm just trying to see what could be done about it. I'm not really vying for Employee of the Month, but I do take pride in my landscape. I keep a pretty neat area, and that's been an ongoing problem. That happened last Tuesday from the heavy storm, and every time it storms, sometimes it's bad, sometimes it's not. If it's not too bad, I'll just go ahead and take care of it. But this one forced my hand to come down and talk to you guys to see, to follow up from the last visit. I don't know if he kept record, but those pictures this time looks worse than the last ones I brought.
I wasn't here at your last visit.
Okay, they'll bring you up to speed. But yeah, going forward, I just want to know if,
you know, part of it is a flood situation, water drainage, and if our flood grant, which we hope, you know, the 4.5 million, this could help there, but there might be some other measures. And Mr. Bradford certainly raises an issue that we need to look into and see how it can be addressed.
well, when I first moved there, this, if you notice, coming all the way down Eckford Street on that side, on both sides actually, we didn't have this. It was like 30 years ago. It was a flow all the way down, and I think that ties into Lafayette Street, which goes into the creek behind me. I don't know what it's called. But anyway, it goes.
We can get Willis to look at it when they come up.
But yeah, something needs to be done, you know, or looked at.
Let's get Willis to look at it when he comes. They'll be up here. We'll get them to look at it.
And hopefully when we can secure a public works director, it's something that can be coordinated with you and the director that's going to replace Mike.
I would.
And we can.
Yeah.
make sure that
Well,
that's taken care of.
that's a given there.
Okay.
So, okay, well, we
Thank you.
appreciate your
Thanks for
coming
listening.
and your
Appreciate it.
public spirited citizenship.
Thank you.
All right, let's see where we are. Kagan?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Let me pass those around. Water Valleys Industrial Park.
Yep.
I'm just going to give an update, and then I need 2 decisions from you. So that front page is a cool, just a status update. We've been ripping and tearing out there, and it's coming along. We're close to paving the main road and the roundabout in the top right corner. There's going to be a truck roundabout, turnaround, circle where a truck can turn around. Will be up there, and that's coming next.
And you got that because the bids were under.
Yes, so if you remember, this project started 3 years ago, and the engineer estimated it would cost about 1.2 million. By the time we had written enough grants to have 1.2 million to put it out for bid, the engineer said, that's not going to pay for this project anymore. So we raised more, wrote more grants. So we secured $1.86 million to do this project and put it out for bid. And we stripped out everything we thought we couldn't afford just to make sure we got a road and we got this huge building lot prepared. And then the bids came in low. So what we're doing is we're adding back the things that we stripped out thinking we couldn't afford them. And they're not fancy. One of them is that roundabout for the trucks. We stripped out, it was going to be a gravel turnaround at a minimum, and we could come back later and pave it. We now have enough money to pave it now. So we're not changing any dollars, we're just going to spend the money we have to finish this out to the best level that we can. So we have a change order, which is your last page, which is, we're going to have 2 change orders, which is, again, adding back features that we didn't think we could afford. This first change order, it's not new money, we're just, if the board can approve it, it's to pave that roundabout. That's why we need to vote on it, please.
All right, there's a motion, and is there a second?
Second.
All in favor will say aye. I want it properly worded. Okay, no, that's what I'm saying.
Yes. Aye.
All right, any opposed? I'm going to rule that it's unanimously adopted. Go ahead.
Thank you. So we don't have it tonight because the engineer is still working on this, but we'll get it to you. The second change order is going to be for the main road. We have enough money to put up curbs on the side, which we had taken off because we didn't think we could afford those. So that change order is going to come in. Again, it's going to be in budget, no new money.
I'm going to move, we can adopt in concept this authorization for the change order.
Can we?
I believe we can. Is there a motion?
Make a motion.
Second. All in favor will say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. That'll save me bothering you again. Okay, the second picture, this, if you've driven out, this is the new entrance coming off of Highway 7. We put in the budget money to put a sign there saying the W.C. Gardner Industrial Park off of Highway 7. It turns out that we have to be set back 155 feet from the center line, so it's not going to be very visible until someone actually turns into the park, but it's in the budget and we want to put it in. So we have 2 design options. That's page 3 and page 4. I will admit I put my thumb on these designs to make them as simple and easy to maintain as possible.
What's your recommendation? Which one?
I've given you 2 very simple options, and I don't really have a preference.
I like the first one.
Me too.
Which one is your first one? Okay.
W.C. Gardner Industrial Park. Is there a motion that the W.C. Gardner Industrial Park motif be adopted? That is the first one in your packet here. Is there a motion? Is there a second? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Great. So we will have to, we have 1 quote. Oh, I'm sorry. We have 1 quote for this. We'll get a second quote. They're both going to be within the budget for the sign column.
Now, we'll have to approve the
And
quotes.
you'll have to.
We'll have to approve the quotes, and we can, if you have by the second meeting, it can be formalized at that time.
That's all I need. Thank you.
Thank you, and this is going to, look, we're talking about transformative. This industrial park gives us the opportunity to have, you can go the square footage of the prepared, Kagan, the square footage is immense.
The work that we've done will allow a 300,000 square foot building with parking for employees to be built there as soon as this project is done. And two of the funding partners of the 5 funding partners, actually 6 funding partners that have helped pay for this project, one is Tennessee Valley Authority and one is Mississippi Development Authority. We are now considered a premier site for both of those entities with their economic development organizations. So they honestly want to get their money back by being able to sell power and collect taxes.
They do, and if you don't have an acceptable site that'll do the needs without a lot of work, they're not going to look at you. You're not going to make the checklist.
Correct. So as soon as this is done, I'm already out running around. We're looking for someone who wants to build a facility that will provide jobs and some tax revenue.
And we get to live in Waterville. What more could they have?
Join the community, put the kids in the schools. But thank you.
Get
And
a
if you
nice place to work and a great community. Two things.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's go on to Ms. Smith. You're recognized.
Okay, I am binding you once again to your oath of office. You swore to Almighty God to uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States. You have lied to God, you lied to the people, so good luck with that. In the last meeting, I mentioned that I wanted to put a notice in the paper, a redress of grievances under my First Amendment right to free speech. The local paper would not allow me to do so, but he was happy to criticize me with false information in the following paper after that meeting. And he stated that I was referring or referencing a request for an older ordinance. There's only one ordinance, the 2006 ordinance. He was implying that I was referring to one that doesn't even exist anymore, obviously. So again, it's a propaganda paper. He also stated, and I quote, her remarks included allegations that a planning commissioner had purchased multiple properties and that zoning decisions had benefited those holdings, though no documentation was presented during the meeting. So, David Howell, here is your proof. I looked this up. My printer is in storage currently, so I looked this up under Secretary of State website, Corporate Business Registry, Megan Bacchus, Wrights Place LLC, number 1355668, established 8/29/22, under agent name Northwest Registered Agent Inc. And the principals, the organizer Morgan Noble, manager Megan Bacchus, member Megan Bacchus, 2 separate addresses, one Ridgeland, Mississippi, one Nashville, Mississippi. I spoke with Megan on the 30th of April for over an hour and invited her into my property because I was aware that the man that was doing Stratajack, his name is Bobby Clanton, he volunteered to tell me that she was converting 202 and 216 Calhoun Street to duplexes. Then he proceeded to tell me that my home would be more easily converted into a duplex than her 2 homes that she had purchased on Calhoun Street. Prior to that, in 2022, when she established her LLC, she bought the empty lot, which is now the empty lot, which contained an older home. This is next to the courthouse. and Wright's Grocery, the old Wright's Grocery Store. Half-acre lot, and there was a proposal, and I believe even in the local paper that year, a architectural drawing of her proposal for 6 townhomes in that on that half-acre lot. So anyway, going back to Stratajack, he was working on my foundation, and then I talked to the guys that were actually gutting the 2 homes. They confirmed that she was, in fact, they were instructed to convert those 2 homes to duplexes. I again confirmed that last Friday when Stratajack came back, because they've still got some more repairs to do on my home. So that I'm just saying that. Then I've got a copy of an email that I got from James McCormick on the Planning Commission. He had no clue what spot zoning meant, and I quote, this was on March 16th of this year. I have no earthly idea what spot zoning might possibly mean. Then on the 26th of March, I requested the voting results for rezoning the church or the sanctuary on Calhoun Street to multifamily housing, which is a spot zoning issue. And it says, quote, the application for the sanctuary proposal was considered at the October 15th, 2025 meeting of the Planning Commission. The vote to recommend approval for the proposal was approved with 5 commissioners voting yes and Commissioner Thornton voting no. That means Megan Bacchus voted yes. The problem with that is that she is going to benefit from the purchase of those homes. And so I looked up on UpCouncil website, community developer, which Megan has called herself, that the ultimate gain for a community developer buying multiple homes on a street under an LLC could be significant, depending on the appreciation of the properties and the tax treatment of the LLC. If the properties are held for investment and sold at profit, the developer could realize capital gains tax benefits. Transferring rental property to an LLC protects personal assets and provides tax advantages, and can simplify the process of transferring ownership to heirs and ease the process of estate planning.
Ms. Smith, we
So
appreciate
she has
you being
voted
here. And, your time is
she
expired.
has voted in
Now
her
we'll
own
move
best
along.
interest, which is a
Thank you so much for
serious
being
problem.
with us tonight. And we appreciate all citizens being here, and they each can have the opportunity to address the board. Thank you so much. Next, we'll move on to item number 16.
Hold on, Tommy.
I'm yes, sir. What's your situation? The 5 minutes have elapsed.
I understand that, and I'm a board member, and I wish to speak freely. She brought up some serious accusations that allegedly have proof that Planning and Zoning Committee did not recuse themselves when they stand to gain from that, and I think it needs to be looked into.
Well, there's the state auditor, and if there's any violations, the state auditor or the attorney general of the state or the district attorney of this district would be proper authorities to do that.
So are you going to reach out to them to make sure all the proper things are followed?
I try to follow everything that I know where I determine there's any violation. You can do the same if you wish, and that would be, we all have that opportunity as citizens to do that. So yes, we took an oath to follow the law, and we do follow the law in the Constitution of the United States and the state of Mississippi. So yes, that would be appropriate. Anything would be appropriate. But I don't. This is America, And if you're charged with something, you have the opportunity to confront your accuser in a proper legal forum. And so I think we need to, and you have certainly any right to, and should, any right to say what you wish, and Ms. Smith has had the right to do that, and she can express herself as she should. And anyone can avail themselves, me or any citizen can avail themselves of the provision. Now, there, the Audit Department, the Attorney General, all those things are present, and they have ways to be contacted. So yes, we will. All that will be followed. Okay, now, next, are we ready for item number 16? All right, this is,
We have to have that in the minutes so that they can proceed, and I can sign, help them with
yes,
that.
yes, designation of authority for the city of Water Valley. That would be, well, I could combine 16 and 17, designating a PA for the
And
city.
the reason, Brandon, I
Water
put
Valley.
Jim on is because they're under, y'all are under all of our numbers.
And this would be, Vivian would be listed for city for MEMA. And then for the Utility Commission, it would be Jim McClure, who is our utility director there. Is there a motion that this be adopted and done? Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor will say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Next, we have a proposed scrap and salvage agreement.
Well, so as y'all may remember, we're working with Taylor Appraisals for the auction, along with, or appraisals, auction services, not appraisal services, that's another Taylor. Auction services, and he asked that we develop a contract for the scrapper to enter into, and so a month or 2 months ago on our minutes, we discussed the items that we were declaring surplus, and also the terms in which we were providing, which the $1 million liability insurance, and that we would require a bond for the completion of the work. Let's see, 1 second.
A performance bond.
Yes, sir.
Well, if you have a city project and you don't, you're asking for trouble. If it's a big one.
Well,
I think we got it in an email. Let's see. My phone went down.
It provides for the performance bond, is that not correct?
well, that's what I'm looking at.
Well, if it
and-
doesn't, let's put it in there as you normally would, okay?
Yes, sir. Yeah, that's what it was I was looking for.
Well, is
Anyways,
it-
but this was the form I was going to have y'all approve as to the requirements that.
Would we, do you think that would be it wouldn't unduly burden him, would it?
I didn't believe so.
All right, is there a motion that a performance bond in the standard fashion be added to this template here?
Make a motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, now this is generally the standard way to do that. Is that correct? This is.
Yes, sir. We've got the liability insurance. We have the certificate of insurance will be provided to the city that they're to maintain workers' comp, and
Right.
and we
Okay,
have the-
performance bond you need for a construction
Yeah.
contract, okay. All right, if there's no further questions, is there a motion that this, be adopted as a template for this necessary this agreement?
I'll make a motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, that's done. All right, there's a vacant and abandoned structure registration ordinance that's been distributed. It's getting late. We can continue this till the next time. Well, James, you could address it if you wish and if you want to.
Actually, I would like for the members of the planning commission to discuss it at an open meeting.
Well, y'all do that, and we're meeting again in a couple weeks.
Yes.
So if you go ahead and do that, and then if it's agreeable with y'all, we'll postpone that for a couple weeks because we got some other business to take care of right now. And I think it'd be a good. It's modeled after Hattiesburg, and they like it, and it's done a good work. Next, we have an emergency order continuance. We need to do that. Is there a motion that the ICE emergency be continued and that the facts justifying the same be found to be true and correct? Is there such a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye. All right, next, we have the industrial park contractor invoice, and you know this need to pay your bills. All right.
I know, I knew something. There's a lot in this packet this time. It was for Pace, a lot of it was for Pace, for $38,426.89.
Come a long way.
And some on the back, so we just needed to make sure
All
that
right,
they all
and the
get
engineer has certified that the work has been properly done,
Yes,
as
sir.
they must do on all these contracts when you have a public contract like this that is by bid. The engineer has to sign off on this. So, is there a motion that we pay our bills and that this be approved, this invoice?
Make a motion.
Is there a second? Motion and second. Is there any discussion? All in favor will say aye. Any opposed? All right. Is there a motion that the board go in, have a closed determination on the issue of going into executive session for the Public Works Director discussion and consideration as set forth in the agenda? Is there a motion? And Vivian, keep your time.
I'll make a motion.
All right, there's a motion. Is there a second?
As a hometown bank, Bank First is proud to offer top-notch banking products with perks that support local businesses and people who support their communities. We believe our towns, no matter the size, deserve the best products and the best customer service, an experience we all deserve. We're hometown banking at its best. Do you bank with us? You should.
The City of Water Valley Monthly Board Meeting, sponsored by Bank First of Water Valley.